Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 2 of my month-long series here in August, the 31 must-hear bands of the 21st century. That's right, these are some of my favorite picks, some of my best picks of bands that you need to hear, who have kind of debuted here in the 2000s, right? The year 2000 to 2022. Bands that, new bands, right? I'm not really going to center on newish bands who have folks who have been in lots of other bands before. I'll talk about those at the end of the month. These are going to be new to everybody, starting with the year 2000 here in the 21st century. And again, these are going to be mostly all forms of metal, hard rock, classic rock, prog rock, fusion, jazz fusion, right? I'm going to kind of keep it centered on the bands that we, the genres that we cover here on the channel. So if you're looking for, the top 10 pop, pop selling band that came out 10 years ago, dance band, hip hop, all that, I'm not covering any of that, as you would imagine, right? And some of these, many of these might be unknown to most of you. And that's kind of the point of doing this whole exercise, is to hopefully introduce some of you to bands that we may have mentioned here and there on the channel. But these are more newer bands, obviously not big popular bands, not legendary bands. These are bands who are looking out, waiting to be discovered by you guys, right? So hopefully you give each of these bands that you haven't heard before a little bit of love. Go listen to them here on YouTube, on Spotify, wherever it is that you go and listen to your music. Hopefully you like what you hear to make you want to go out and buy some of their albums. That's kind of why I'm doing this, because that's why we do this channel to begin with, and the website, right? So today, a very cool band from Norway who, in my opinion, are one of the torchbearers of this whole kind of like retro 70s prog revival that we've gotten a bunch of bands who do this sort of thing over the last 20 or 30 years. But in my opinion, none of them do it as good as this band. Like I said, from Norway, the band is called Wobbler. Their debut album, Hinterland, came out in 2005. They've released 5 studio albums. This is Dwellers of the Deep, their most recent album, which came out in 2020. One of my favorite albums of the year. Probably my favorite album by them. It's hard to say because all 5 of their albums are absolutely terrific. 4 out of 5 or 5-star classics, each and every one of them. So they're all so good. And again, if you love classic early mid-70s prog, these guys touch that sweet spot. But they still sound like themselves, right? Yeah, there are hints of classic Genesis and King Crimson and the Moody Blues and Yes and Gentle Giant and Camel and, all that stuff that we love, Van de Graaff Generator, right? So they obviously, that's what they love as well. So there's a lot of elements from some of those classic bands, but yet all these albums just very much sound like Wobbler. They have their own style. They have their own sound. They've got unique vocals. They've got loads of Hammond organ and Moog and Mellotron, electric piano, loads of guitars, acoustic guitars, Rickenbacker bass, drums and percussion, the whole 9 yards. Really, lengthy songs, but never boring, pastoral, atmospheric, energetic and complex, lush. I mean, all these things you can use to describe the music of Wobbler. Probably, for me, my favorite prog band of the last 20 years. And it's probably not even close. These guys are very, very special. Like I said, they've got 5 studio albums. Hinterland came out in 2005, Afterglow in 2009, Rights at Dawn 2011, From Silence to Somewhere 2017, and Dwellers of the Deep in 2020. In fact, they also, their first 3 albums went out of print. They recently re-released those first 3 albums on CD and, I believe, vinyl as well, fairly recently, sometime in late last year. So you can go check those out if you missed out on those. As far as who's in the band, we've got, I hope I pronounce all these names correctly, Christian Carl Hultgren on bass clarinet, bass recorder, and most of these guys are founding members. Been with the band since they formed in '99, but they didn't start actually releasing albums till a handful of years later. Lars Fredrik Freusli on keyboards and backing vocals, Martin Nordrum Kneppen on drums, percussion, and recorder, Andreas Wettergren Stronman Prestmo, wow, is that a long name, lead vocals, guitar, glockenspiel, percussion. He's actually one of the newest members, along with Geir Marius Bergum Halleland lead guitar, backing vocals. He also joined in 2011. So Andreas and Gear are the two newer members of the band, but again, new. Based, they've been in the band for over a decade. Original members, we have Morten Andreas Eriksson on lead guitar, mandolin. He was with the band from 99 to 2011, and then Tony Johansson on lead vocals from 99 to 2009. So, yeah, just a really, really great band. Again, get a look at the guys right there. And again, just 4 songs, right? So all these albums contain these big, epic length tracks. And just loaded with good stuff. To me, like Wobbler, if you loved 70s, classic 70s prog by all the main bands that were out there, I mean, this is like, candy for the ears, ear candy, earworms, whatever you want to call them, right? It's just, I put on a Wobbler album and I'm just kind of like, oh, it just like brings me back in time. And to think that, a group of guys who are probably a lot younger than me can create music that sounds so authentic and so from that time period that so many of us who love prog like absolutely love it. It's just dripping. You listen to these albums and you'd swear it was recorded in like 1972 or 73. I mean, that's how like authentic they sound. Just really, really good stuff. Great melodies, great vocals, nice use of counterpoint, all that kind of stuff. Loads of atmosphere. I feel like I'm repeating myself here. So yeah, I love Wobbler. If you haven't checked these guys out, you really need to. And for those of you who are saying, if I want to hear something that sounds like the 70s bands, I'll just listen to the 70s bands. Well, that's kind of the point of doing this whole show this month, right? Is to kind of get you out of that comfort zone to say, that's great, I get it, but they're not trying to knock off any of those bands. They're paying homage to those great bands. Brand new songs, right? All sounding like Wobbler, scratching that itch, which we love, but giving you fresh, memorable songs that are just exciting to listen to and oh so rewarding. So give them a shot. Wobbler, like I said, Dwellers of the Deep is my favorite, I think. It's hard to pick a favorite from this band. But go check out any of their 5 albums and let us know what you think. If you are already a fan, praise the works of Wobbler and this great band down in the comments below. If you're listening to them for the first time, come back and in the comments let us know what you thought. So, all right, that is your pick for today. Wobbler from Norway. Dwellers of the Deep is my album pick, but listen to any of their albums, and I think you'll be amazed at just how good they are. So thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow for pick number 3 as we count down my 31 must-hear bands of the 21st century. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all these videos so you don't miss any of them. Last month when we did the my favorite power trio band, so many times during the month people are like, oh, did you cover this band? I've missed a bunch of episodes. Well, how did you miss a bunch of episodes? You haven't clicked on that notification bell, because if you do, you get an email notifying you of every video, and they'd be sitting there in your inbox. All you need to do is go check your email and say, oh, I missed that video. Let me click on that. So it's very, very important, right? Very, very important. We also have a playlist like we do for all of our shows. There is a playlist for every show here on the channel. So if you miss any episodes, just go to the playlist. You'll see them all listed right there. That's also probably one of the easiest ways to get caught up on stuff. It's like just click on the playlist tab and you'll get every episode in this series in the order that it was recorded and released. So that's very simple too. All right. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you tomorrow morning with another pick of my 31 must-hear bands of the 21st century. I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.